Coach, as we were just talking about, tonight's game is a biggie in Class A football. It's two teams that very possibly should have met last year for the state championship or were destined to meet and wound up not meeting, but they're two class programs. Tell us a little about both Lincoln County and Commerce.
Charles, Lincoln County under Coach Larry Campbell, Commerce under Coach Ray Lamb. When you speak of high school football in Georgia, these two towns, these communities, and these coaches are synonymous with success in high school football. They rank right up there with the Valdostas, the Clark Centrals, and the people that have every year, year in and year out, had outstanding football. I think it's a classic. It's a tremendous crowd here tonight. The enthusiasm is so great. It's been fun just to be here so far. I'm so happy that the rain has let up some. I think we're going to have a good old-fashioned football game tonight. Both teams primarily run the wishbone offense and do a super job with it. What you have is Lincoln County returning from a state championship last year, and as you alluded to, many people thought that these teams might have played for the state championship last year. It's altogether fitting and proper, since that scenario did not take place, that they could meet during the regular season this year. Commerce returning most of their offensive players, Lincoln County returning most of their defensive players. What more can you say? I'm glad we're here. We're excited about being in Commerce, and I think we're going to have another tremendous game right here on TV 32.
Well, not only that, this is the first time these two teams have met, so that makes emotions extremely high for tonight's game. We're out on the field just prior to coming up here to discuss the game with you, and the field is in excellent shape, so we should see football action pretty much unhampered by the elements tonight. It's nippy. It's a lot different from the games that we have done in the past couple of weeks, and so we're looking forward to great action tonight. Commerce, Lincoln County, stay tuned. It's going to be a great one. You're watching high school football on TV 32.
This way it's going to be, Charles.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be one more game. We were just sitting here discussing it before the game starts. Both teams now coming onto the field. The captains are meeting at midfield right now, and as we said before, we're in football territory.
Man, it's exciting to be here tonight. Boy, a great crowd of people all the way up about 90 miles from Lincolnton, down in Lincoln County, and I could mention some names here, Double Branches and Amity. You know, that's just kind of like hot coffee, Mississippi, I guess. But to Lincoln County folks, that's very, very real. And the Commerce Tiger fans are here in multi-numbers, and boy, it's exciting to be in Commerce, Georgia tonight.
And the Lincoln County fans have come a long way to get here tonight, and their stands are filling up. A lot of Lincoln County folks and a lot of red across the way as we see them. As we mentioned, the captains are meeting at midfield. Commerce will receive. Let's run down that starting lineup for you. At midfield right now for Commerce, by the way. The captains tonight, number 10 is Scott Nunn. Number 33, Pat Wood. For Lincoln County, for the Red Devils, number 25 is Glenn Norman, and number 33 is David Sherman. Let us mention to you that Commerce Tigers are in black jerseys with white numerals, and the Lincoln County Red Devils, of course, one of their colors is red, and the predominant color there tonight is white with red numerals. Starting for Lincoln County, the visiting team tonight on offense. The quarterback tonight is Greg Leverett, the junior, 150 pounds. He's number 11. At fullback, Glenn Norman, number 25, a junior, 182 pounds. The halfbacks, number 30, Wilburn Jones, a senior, 155 pounds. And number 24, Johnny Postel, a junior, 160 pounds. At split end, number 87, Victor Elam, a senior, 160 pounds. Number 72, Kelly Wells, a senior, 263 pounds. Number 50 at guard, Jason Leroy, senior, to 175. The center is Brad Bowler, a junior, 191. He's number 58. Dwayne Simmons is a junior, 171. He's number 61 at guard. The tackle, Bobby Booker, a senior, 195. He's number 70. The tight end is Anthony Glaze, a senior, 185 pounds. He's number 9.
Okay, we'll get the other lineups for you here in just a moment, Charles, when we have a break. We have Commerce Tigers deferred to the second half. They will be kicking off to the Lincoln County Red Devils. As we mentioned in our pregame talk, high school football, Commerce, Georgia, Lincoln County, Georgia, those are all synonymous words when you think about this great classic of a high school sport. Someone has once said that in Lincoln County you do three things: you hunt, you fish, and you play football. Not necessarily in that order, but certainly it has great tradition, as does Commerce, and this is going to be a bang-up ball game under Coach Ray Lamb, one of the premier coaches in the state of Georgia, along with Coach Larry Campbell, who has also established himself a very, very fine reputation reputation in the coaching ranks.
All right, the game's underway. The kickoff from number 44, Scott Burley, goes out of bounds, and we'll kick over again and see what happens. Of course, Commerce at their home field tonight, as we mentioned earlier, the Scoreboard Sports, the last time they were state champions, 1981, AA state champions. Of course, they're now in A classification. Lincoln County, last year's state champions in Class A, so it is one more battle that we're set for tonight.
And the previous year, Charles, they were runner-up, and the previous year to that, they were state champion. It's ironic that Lincoln is 2-2 on the year, and everybody says, what's wrong with Lincoln? But what you don't realize is this is the first time in 7 years they've lost 2 games in a season. It's the first time in 15 years that they've lost 2 games at home.
Boy, what
a phenomenal record.
What a record. All right, the kickoff from Burley once again.
Great kickoff.
Taken at the 14-yard line.
Good lick on the kickoff.
Big hole opened up there. Johnny Postel bringing the ball up across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Lincoln County Red Devils put the ball in play there.
Scott Burley on that tackle going down under the specialty team. On defense, let's get those for Commerce here in just a moment. Keith Beasley, number 82, 200-pound junior. Number 56, 225-pound senior, Ken Knupp. At nose guard, Pat Tarpkin, 215-pound, number 76. At right tackle, Shane Brown, number 61, 200-pound senior. And at defensive end, Ricky Allwood.
All right, the handoff once again going to Postel, and the Commerce defense was there, gaining up to about the 40 was Postel.
Just a whole host of Commerce Tigers. Coach Ray Lamb's teams have always been team-oriented on defense and team-oriented on offense, but they do a real good job of pursuing the football and extremely active.
Second down now at 7.
Chip McClure and Mark Hancock manning the linebacker spots for Coach Ray Lamb's defense.
The pitch out to Postel once again, gets a little hole, and doing a good job of getting the first down as he gets up almost to midfield, run out of bounds at the 48. Postel doing some good running.
Certainly a good job then, and he twisted right here on the corner and got some additional yardage. Looked real good. Just a simple pitch back from Greg Leverett. Did a real good job. Super block on the end over there by the onside halfback for Lincoln County, Wilburn Jones.
And that's a first down for Lincoln County.
A good key here that we might point out, you know, the kickoff originally was not a good kickoff. Went out of bounds, and then they had to re-kick, and Lincoln got very good field position out of that.
A gain of about 3 yards as they get up to midfield, but a flag is on the play just at the midfield stripe.
Mark Hancock once again coming up off the stop. Lincoln County's going to have a procedure call. Make it 1st and 15. So they'll start back over. Not bad field position still for Lincoln County.
Okay, Lincoln County posting the first down tonight on their drive. Both teams, as we mentioned earlier, primarily running the wishbone attack. So we'll be seeing Leverett at quarterback doing some option plays, and as he has already with Postel primarily. Set up now in an I, and a procedure call once again. The pass is complete.
Coming up to make the stop for Commerce, number 11, Chip Massey. And let's get the rest of those defensive starters. At cornerback, number 33, Pat Wood, 175-pound senior. At the linebackers, number 74, Chip McClure, 205-pound senior. At the other backer, Mark Hancock, number 66, 175-pound senior. Cornerback in Chip Massey, number 11, 170-pound junior. At the safety, number 1, Chris Lamb, 140-pound senior. And the other safety, number 2, Barry Brooks, 160-pound sophomore. That gives you the defensive starters for the Commerce Tigers of Coach Ray Lamb.
Set up this time at 1st and 20 in a full wishbone. And the pitch out once again to Postel.
Super defensive play. Super defensive play. That's just the way you draw it up on defense. Did a real good job at the defensive end out there by Ricky Allwood. He made the quarterback pitch. Then you got real good support from Chip Massey. Then Chris Lamb coming up on the support. Actually, on the defensive front, Charles, Commerce gives you the 5-man and the 2 linebackers, but they actually play what they call a monster back or a tiger back, and they rotate him.
The Commerce with great defense on this particular series of downs. Second down, 19 for Lincoln County. The pitch out to Anthony Glaze, the short pass, and a good job of picking up some yardage. That gives them now a third down at about 6. So that's just what they needed at this point to get back to where they can make something count on this drive.
Interesting call by the offensive coaches, you know, from Lincoln County, having been stopped on 2 successive plays out of the wishbone. They broke the bone then and went to the I formation with the flanker back, then set in motion to try to loosen up, you know, the defensive front there of Commerce, and it was for a very, very substantial gain. Good play by Lincoln County.
And they're running basically the I once again with the split. Looking for him, and he can't get to it. Intended receiver is Victor Elam, and Commerce all over Greg Leverett as he was trying to throw that. A lot of pressure put on by the defense of the Tigers.
Certainly a great job by defense of the Commerce Tigers to put pressure on the passer then, but I was really impressed with the way that Greg Leverett stood in the pocket then, and he did not wait for the guy to make his cut. Number 87 for Lincoln County there, Victor Elam. He threw the ball to where it was supposed to be, and that's a sign of a good quarterback.
Right. What am I saying right for? You know. Okay, Greg Leverett calling for a timeout for Lincoln County. It's 4th down and 7. You're watching high school football on TV 32. A 4th down timeout was called by Lincoln County. Back to punt now for Lincoln County is Kenny Starks. Excuse me, that's Anthony Glaze. It's neither one, it's Greg Leverett. Downed at the 25-yard line. Commerce Tigers will put it in play right there, the 25-yard line. We need to run down the Commerce offense for you. Keith Beasley, the tight end, number 82, is a 200-pound junior. Number 56 is Ken Knupp, a junior, 225 pounds. The guard, number 67, Ricky Arwood, a 170-pound senior. Chip McClure is the center, number 74, a 205-pound senior. The guard, number 61, Shane Brown on the right side, a 200-pound senior. Number 66 is Mark Hancock, a tackle, 175-pound senior. Kevin McCook is the junior, 170 pounds. He's number 19. The quarterback, Scott Nunn, number 10, 170-pound senior. Pat Wood is the fullback, 175-pound senior, number 33. At halves are Ramblin' Rod Rucker, 160-pound senior. Number 34 is James Wood, 130-pound senior. That's the offensive starting lineup for the Commerce Tigers as they come up to the line for their first possession of the night.
Okay, we'll get the defensive starters for the Red Devils here in just a moment.
Rucker in motion. And about 3 yards up the middle for Commerce as they brought a lot of people to this side of the field. Brought 3 out here, and then Nunn came around on the fake out to this side. But about a gain of 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7 now for Commerce.
Okay, we have Barry Brooks carrying plays in and split in, you know, along with Paul Ingram in there split in carrying the plays out. And just as we talked about the wishbone, they come out immediately and we're in a wide open offense, but I love it.
Now we get the wishbone attack. Okay, the handoff, and boy, just spurting through there. For Commerce, number 33, Pat Wood, the fullback, and really finding a hole through that Lincoln County defense. Good blocking up front. Chip McClure, Shane Brown, Mark Hancock opening up that right side of the line.
Okay, Bobby Booker is number 70, 195-pound senior at defensive end. Maverick Andrews, number 63, 215-pound senior at defensive tackle. Glenn Norman, number 25, 182-pound junior. Mac Talent, number 75, 229-pound sophomore. And Jason Leroy, number 50, 175-pound senior at the defensive front for Lincoln County.
On the first down, Pat Wood once again getting about 2 yards on the play, getting the ball up very close to the 40-yard line.
Well, good job then, Charles, by Mark Talent, a young sophomore player for Coach Larry Campbell, 229-pound sophomore, and Maverick Andrews, I love that name, number 63, 250-pound senior. Fullback had some success early, still had a success, but they've got to tighten up on the wishbone. You have to take away the fullback first. And the first offensive series, he really did a good job running the football.
Dunn setting down the offensive line. The pitch to Wood, and he's wide open, going down the sidelines, knocked out of bounds, and knocked our camera and cameraman down. We hope that John is okay.
Best block thrown all night.
That's another first, ladies and gentlemen, for TV 32. You saw it right here.
You see it happen on Sunday afternoon and on Saturday afternoon, so we were bound for it to happen to our man on the spot, John Kerr. He's got to realize that football is a game of dedication, discipline, and willing to sacrifice. This one's going to come back.
The burning question is, will he be back next week?
Big John's kind of like an offensive tackle, doesn't move too well anyway, and somewhat distraught.
Looks like we may have problems with the camera stand, but the tripod, but that's okay. We'll make it through. Good job, John. What a tackle.
Had a clip on illegal block by Commerce then, and now they have second in long yardage. The backers for Lincoln County, number 40, Kurt Douglas, 225-pound junior. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a man. Number 55, Robert Elam, 170-pound senior.
Nunn with the handoff again to James Wood, and Wood gets back up to the 30-yard line, so it'll be third down and still in the neighborhood of 16 yards for the first down, about 17 for the first down.
Okay, real fine job then by Robert Elam. They ran the quick trap. Coach Ray Lamb's team have been famous for running the trap out of the wishbone, out of any set, that he's run. So very, very fine defensive play by Robert Elam then and Kurt Douglas.
Nunn once again on the pitch. And Rod Rucker does some rambling. Rucker gets the first down. What an outstanding play as Rucker came around to the right side of the line. Good blocking by the backs as they came up and opened up the hole along with those linemen on the right side. Some of them pulled. Ricky Arwood, Chip McClure, all of those going over, and just a tremendous job of execution by Commerce, rolling up enough for the first down across midfield.
Well, they did a great job making the pitch. Super defensive play by Bobby Booker over there at defensive end. He made him pitch. Victor Elam, the cornerback, came real quick, but he hit the seam, and then he looked like he was going to run for a while.
Pitch off to Wood once again. Wood gaining about 6.5 or 7 tough yards up there. Robert Wood running strong.
Glenn Norman in from his noseman spot, 182-pound junior, in for the stop. The cornerbacks for Lincoln, number 87, Victor Elam, 160-pound senior, and number 30, Wilburn Jones, 155-pound senior. At the safeties, Antonio Blackwell, number 8, 165-pound senior, and Anthony Glaze, number 9, 185-pound senior. And Commerce has really looked good moving the football behind that offensive line up there.
And Pat Wood has taken on much of that effort tonight at fullback so far, really doing a great job of running. Once again, Pat Wood with a handoff, and he is awfully close to the first down. I believe the way that the marker is slanted, I believe he has the first down.
Jason Leroy and Glenn Norman then on the tackle along with Mark Talent. And I really think, Charles, it's not such a situation as a bad job by the Lincoln County defense. It's just a super job up front by Shane Brown, Mark Hancock, Chip McClure. And it seems that on either side, they haven't determined one side or the other they're going to run, but they feel very, very confident behind any of those young men up front on the offensive line.
Right. It looks like it's just strong play up there. And as we mentioned coming in, this is an all-out war out there. 4:18 is left in the first quarter. First down for Commerce. Commerce so far 3 first downs all on this drive. Lincoln County coming out and getting 1 first down on their initial drive tonight.
Well, Commerce was coming off a loss last week from Oconee County, and they felt like, they played pretty well in part of the football game over there, and it looks like they've come out chomping at the bit tonight. Coach Ray Lamb showing an unbalanced line from his wishbone attack.
Wood once again on the carry. That's Pat Wood. We have 2 Woods back there in the backfield. Pat Wood and James Wood. We'll be referring to them and trying to use their first names to keep it from being so confusing for you. That was Pat Wood on the carry, about a 2-yard gain, second down and 8.
Okay, they'll do fine on defense with, giving up 2 yards, but you can't give up 3 yards to the fullback out of the wishbone offense. Maverick Andrews and Kurt Douglas doing a super job in there on defense, and that's probably the least gain they've had on first down tonight.
I think you're right.
Man, that little halfback can scoot, can't he? Is that James
That's
Wood?
the little man, James Wood.
Man, he looked like a dart going through that.
He really did.
Well, this is a big down right here for Lincoln County. Commerce has been very successful on all of the third down conversions, up until this point. This is a big down for Lincoln County right here.
Well, a third down and 4 is what they have. 2:48 now as we wind down into the waning parts of the first quarter. And emotions are very high for both teams here tonight. Extremely high emotional level. Pitch out goes to James Wood. Wood's got the first down and has gotten more as he gets down inside the 20. Great running, James Wood.
Once again, the defensive end, Jason Leroy, made the back pitch quick. We had a good scrape off by the linebacker, number 55 for Lincoln County, Leverett. Robert Elam, I beg your pardon. And then when he got the football, he just was off to the races and just did a super job of running in. So another successful third down attempt for Coach Ray Lamb's Tigers. And right now at this point, boy, they look well drilled and from the offensive standpoint.
Commerce down inside the Red Devil 20. Number 32, Rod Rucker, the ball carrier, gets down to about the 17. They'll spot it there. We want to apologize for the haze that you have tonight. It's due to the wetness and the humidity in the air, the wet dampness of the field and the humidity, and it looks like a little shroud of haze over the field. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's not problems with your television. That's exactly the way the field looks tonight, a little bit hazy, but that's due to the fog that's settling in a little early tonight.
Maybe we'll still be able to see them at the end of the game. Maybe it'll hover over the lights and not down on the field.
I remember a couple of Gator Bowls where he didn't do such. Oh, none with nobody to hand it to. And second down, it's going to make it third down now, and a yard loss on that play, so that'll bring it back, make it third down and 7.
Okay, Lincoln County going to a little bit different look. They went to a 6-man front on defense. Kelly Wells in there, big tackle for Coach Larry Campbell, doing a super job. Kurt Douglas once again. Charles, I really watched this young man play football, and we saw him in the dressing room, and we shouldn't. He is a man.
He is a man.
I really think, in the years to come, they need to watch for the name of Kurt Douglas.
And he's just a junior.
He's just a junior. I think he is one fine football player.
None on the keeper.
Once again, a great defensive play by the Red Devils. Number 40 over at defensive end then for Lincoln County, Kurt Douglas. He scraped off from the linebacker. Excuse me, Charles. He scraped off from his linebacker spot and looked like he knew exactly what was coming. Coach Ray Lamb may be going for 3 here.
It's the first time that Commerce has faced a fourth down situation tonight. They've converted all of their third downs so far.
All right, in key situations tonight, Charles, they've gone to the option, so it'll be interesting to watch this play, but that's what's been their bread and butter so far, and they read it so well with Scott Nunn, fine quarterback.
All right, it's 4th and 4. They're right inside the 15-yard line.
Well, like I said, they went right back to their bread and butter, and it was able to, it looks like Lincoln County might have stopped it, but certainly that was a fine drive by Commerce. Consumed a lot of the clock, not that that's a factor right now, but they came from the 25-yard line all the way down to the Lincolnton 10. Certainly, yes, it means something to Lincoln County to finally have stopped, the offensive thrust, but boy, didn't Commerce look good running that football.
They did look good. And that's the end of the first quarter. What a game we've had so far. It's tied at 0-0. We'll be back with the second quarter of fine football action in just a few moments. You're watching high school football on TV 32. Yes, and we're all happy to be here at Commerce, Georgia. Tonight's game, outstanding. Lincoln County Red Devils taking over their second possession tonight.
Interesting that the eyes of the tiger are upon you.
They sure are. If you can see the scoreboard, we'll get a shot of that in just a few moments. Boy, pitch out coming just at the right time, but the Commerce defense was there. Greg Leverett.
Donnie Golston coming up on the tackle for Commerce, number 35. Fine job.
Tackling Johnny Postel, who had just received that pitch out from Leverett, and Leverett holding the ball till just the last moment. Of course, I guess Johnny Postel said, I wish you'd kept it, because he got mowed down too right about the same time.
Well, this makes it easy for the defense on second down when it's second down and 9. And Lincoln County running from split backs now.
And a ball fumble on the play.
As a super hit up front then. Looked like it might have been for Commerce Shane Brown, but it was a super hit up front. We have a flag down on the play. And usually when that's thrown in that area, it might have been a procedure call.
While they're deciphering this, let's talk about the coaches of these two teams. Of course, we mentioned Commerce is under the head coachmanship of Ray Lamb, along with assistants Robert Ellis, Steve Savage, Rex Gregg, George Davis, Don Watkins, David Cash, and Jimmy Stevenson. At Lincoln County, the Red Devil coaches, head coach Larry Campbell, assistants are Billy Beal, Howard Ellis, Clifton Gouldsby, Keith Middleton, and Alvin Richards. Superintendents of both schools, we'll mention those while we can. Lincoln County superintendent is Dr. Randall Edmonds, and the principal is William Andrew Henderson. And we'll get to Commerce's officials in just a moment. Another flag has been thrown.
I believe it's going to be offensive interference.
It looks like it'll probably
pass
be
interference.
Pass interference, and that was a 3rd and 6, so that's an important thing to happen at 3rd and 6.
It's going to give them a first down.
Defensive pass interference. The superintendent of Commerce Schools will get that right now for you. James Holloway, and the principal is Donnie Drew. The officials spotting the ball now at the 26-yard line, or marking it off from there. They're bringing it up to the 30-yard line. That'll be 1st and 10 again for Lincoln County, their second first down of the evening.
And Lincoln County going some diversification in their offensive backfield, split backs, I backs, and then every now and then they come back to their bread and butter, the wishbone.
The ball pops out again. Recovered by Lincoln County, I think. Let's see. It looked like they fell on it first, but that does, yep. The officials say it's Lincoln County's ball.
Well, that's just super hitting up front then by the Commerce nose guard, Pat Tarpkin, Chip McClure, Mark Hancock in there at the backer spot.
And certainly not to take anything away from Commerce, but the ball's probably more slippery tonight than it's been. Of course, everybody can say, well, you didn't see Commerce fumbling, and that's true. But anyway, the ball is a little more slippery tonight than it's been in the preceding games this year. 10:29, second quarter action from Commerce. All right, on a second and long, Leverett is intercepted.
Super interception.
Intercepts inside the 40-yard line. What field position?
Chris Lamb coming up with a big intercept on the way down. Came up from the safety position. Number 1, 140-pound senior. Picked off the pass, and Commerce is in great field position on the Lincoln 38-yard line.
Once again, Scott Nunn, quarterback, Pat Wood, James Wood, Rod Rucker, the backfield unit for the Commerce Tigers. And
Fumble, and Lincoln's got it.
There goes for
Number
Lincoln
70.
County.
And he's going to score.
He's made it. Touchdown for
Bobby
Lincoln
Booker,
County.
195-pound senior, picked up the fumble, and boy, he did not run like a tackle.
And what did I just say? Commerce has not fumbled yet. I should not have given them the kiss of death on that one.
I don't think it was a kiss of death. I think, the ball could have been a little slippery. He made a big hit in there. Booker picked it up, and boy, did he run with the football.
He sure did.
He looked like a fullback.
And James Wood, we talked about how fast he was, and of course, he was on the other side of the field trying to catch him, but he was really humping and trying to get him.
He's
but Bobby Booker really was on the way.
Could you say that he was booking?
You'd have to say he was booking. Isn't that something for a tackle, an offensive tackle as he plays on offense, and of course defensive end to pick up that ball and make a touchdown with it.
And Kennedy Starks just knocked it through there. And what a change in momentum. It seemed like it had just gone Commerce's way, you know, with a fine interception by Chris Lamb. And boy, they were all excited. And boy, this is the way high school football is supposed to be.
You're right there. 7-0. Lincoln County now ahead of Commerce.
Well, there wasn't any doubt about what Mr. Booker was going to do. He wasn't going to fall on it. He just picked it up, and boy, he was booking into the end zone.
And if there's any question, you can advance a fumble in high school football.
Man, that was an exciting play. It was interesting that Wood came across number 34, and he can really scat. And, you know, he almost caught him.
That's right.
He just angled for the end zone, but you know, that's just a great play. Boy, that's exciting.
All right, the Commerce fans really getting their teams fired up now, and the Lincoln County fans still ecstatic about that touchdown score.
What a throng of red people there from Lincoln County. They love their football in these two communities, and boy, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Kennedy Starks to kick off for Lincoln County after the score. And it's taken by James Wood. And look at Wood dart!
And game-saving tackle then by Anthony Glaze. And listen, Mr. Wood might have broken that one then had it not been for a great play by Anthony Glaze then.
A dodger and a darter.
We picked a good one, folks. Man, I'd like to mention our officials tonight, Mr. Bill Butler, our head official, Mr. Doc Sisk, Mr. Warren Hardy, Mr. Melvin Cooper, and Nanette Sisk up on the score clock tonight.
All right, the ball is at the 31. Scott Nunn and the Commerce Tigers put it in play there.
And just a whole host of Lincoln County Red Devils. That certainly gave them a little enthusiasm with that touchdown. Maverick Andrews, number 63, Glenn Norman, Kurt Douglas all around the football, Robert Elam. Still substantial yardage, Charles, on first down. They've got second down in about 3 yards on first down with your fullback. Hey, that ain't bad.
That's not bad. Maverick Andrews, that's got to go down with our Hiawatha Berries and our IV Braves and all those we've had over the past years as good football names, doesn't it? And Cloyd Showalters. All right, Nunn is passing, and it's incomplete.
Super lick then by, looked like Anthony Glaze. Very, very fine athlete for Coach Larry Campbell. They've had many Glaze players that come down there, not glazed players, but a lot of fine athletes that come out of there, you know, from the Glaze family, and the Elams and the Bookers, and, you know, just great tradition, you know, in that community down there. Looks like the tight end for Commerce is a little bit hampered with an elbow injury there.
Keith Beasley coming off the field. He
fine athlete.
Intended receiver on that last play. Right now they split James Wood out in the receiving on the lower side of your screen and have two receivers up the top. Rod Rucker goes in motion and Nunn back to pass. He's got Rod Rucker. Rucker for the first down. He gets up over the 45-yard line.
Super execution then by Scott Nunn. He just dropped back. Ray Lamb, Tigers giving a different look. Two split people, a slot man over there, and spreading out the Lincoln County defense. Good call on his part to spread them out because they had somewhat stymied, you know, the running game there for a couple plays, and good call on his part to spread out the defense a little bit more to hit in the seam and for a good completion.
And another third down conversion for Commerce. 1st and 10 right now at the 46-yard line of the Tigers. Pat Wood, the fullback, getting up right at the midfield stripe or just a little over into Red Devil territory.
You don't have any chance to rest if you're on defense as a Lincoln County Red Devil, because I think all three of the backs, Ramblin' Rod Rucker is, you know, one of the mainstays back there, but all of them have such great quickness. You know, you can't ever let up. You've got to make sure that you execute every time on defense.
2nd down and 5 for Commerce. James Wood checking out of the lineup. Handoff again Going back to Rucker. The pitch back to Rucker, and Rucker's got some running room and makes some good cuts inside the 40-yard line. Another first down for the Tigers.
Well, that's super execution by the wishbone triple option then, and he just got in behind his blockers and read it. Lincoln was trying to get someone. Lincoln County Red Devil was trying to get one in the seam, but this has been a very, very successful play for him all night, and super execution by Scott Nunn to his pitchman, Rod Rucker, and Ramblin' Rod was almost off to the races then.
Rick Massey running into plays on this particular down, and is split to the top of your screen, number 5. Once again, Pat Wood, and gaining about 3 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Coach Howard Ellis, fine defensive coordinator for Coach Larry Campbell, trying to change up his defensive front to give them a good look and try not to let them have the good execution.
Mark Hancock limping off the field with it looks like an ankle problem or a knee problem possibly, or a foot problem, maybe hopefully just a cramp or something of that nature. Going in to replace him, number 76, Pat Tarpkins, at the right tackle spot.
I like what Coach Lamb is doing with his unbalanced line. I don't know if he's shown that this year, but it gives them an overload situation from a powerful wishbone offense and makes it extremely difficult. Good job on defense then.
Pat Wood continuing to carry a lot of the load on the offense as he runs through there, picking up about 3 more yards. Ball is spotted at the 35, 5 minutes and 40 seconds counting down in the first half of play.
When you run an unbalanced line from an offensive standpoint, what you're trying to do is get your strength over, and you're trying to read and see what the defense is doing to try to get them outnumbered. You don't give a shift, then you've got a mismatch and more people on one side, and then you put your strength into it.
Boy, look at Pat Wood. Just bowls over down there at the 20-yard line. Pat Wood doing some good running and a big burst of steam as he comes across the offensive line.
Well, he's got super, you know, for a fullback, you think a fullback is kind of the lumbering, powerful type of athlete, but their athlete is just so quick. You know, he just does a super job. But, man, he looks like he's got the quickness, you know, of a halfback, and I'm sure he could play halfback, you know, equally well. But when they wants to break through the line of scrimmage, you know, he looks like a halfback.
He does. 66, Mark Hancock back in now. Evidently that problem not too severe. He's back in.
I'm sure this wasn't planned, but they're number 32, number 33, and number 34. Great defensive play
all over him.
Great defensive play up front by Lincoln County. Then Ronnie Williams, 165-pound senior in there, stopping it up front along with Kirk Douglas, number 40. It's fine exhibition of athletes on both parts of this. I wish our people could see these teams live because they're very, very fine-looking athletes.
Number 8 of Lincoln County.
Anthony Glaze made a senior play then, but boy, I am so impressed with the execution of Scott Nunn. He has come up so many times and successfully made the pitch to his fine halfbacks, Rucker and Wood. Then he read it so well, realizing that they didn't put anyone on him. He just turned it upfield, got in the seam, so to speak, between the cornerback and between the safety. And had Anthony Glaze not made a senior play from his safety position, then it's 6.
And Scott Nunn right now with the Commerce Tigers inside the 10-yard line. It's 1st and goal with 3:30 left on the clock. Pat Wood down across the 5, it looks to me like, very close to the 5, if not.
Mac Talon in on the tackle then, young sophomore tackle for Coach Larry Campbell and Coach Howard Ellis. Goal line defense, 6'5" front.
Timeout called by Lincoln County, and we'll take a timeout. You're watching high school football on TV 32. Unofficially so far, we have Commerce with 8 first downs and Lincoln County with 2 first downs. But looking at the scoreboard, you could never tell that stat had much bearing on the game. Lincoln County with 7-0 over Commerce right now, but Commerce really knocking on the door down inside the 5-yard line. 2nd down and 3:06 left, so the clock is not a factor right now.
Coach Lamb out talking to his charges. 2nd down, and as you mentioned, just inside the 5, I believe, Charles. This has been a fine, fine drive. Good defensive play. Glenn Norman up front, along with Jason Leroy.
And none on the keeper. He faked to Pat Wood as Wood was going up off of left tackle and guard. Kelly Wells, Jason Leroy, you said that a minute ago, on the block up there. And a good job, excuse me, I'm on Lincoln County. Let me get over here to Commerce. Ricky Arwood, Chip McClure, Ken Knupp doing an excellent job of blocking over there.
Their offensive line has a lot of strength, and they can go equally well to both sides. A very, very fine, balanced offensive machine.
And Rucker down awfully close. Let's see where they spot this. Obviously, they didn't say it was a touchdown. They're
fine shot there by John Kerr.
And let's see where they spot it. Boy, that's close. Look at that.
It's close.
Just hugging the goal line.
He'll go for this one. He'll go for this one. Anthony Glaze down there and Antonio Blackwell. You know, it's so close.
4th down and inches for a touchdown. Boy, this is a big play. Can Lincoln County stand the test? Can Commerce get it over? Oh, no. It was a procedure penalty against Commerce. But that'll bring it back. Commerce will have another try at it.
Just anxious. That wasn't the play that was sent in from the sideline.
No, Lincoln County takes it over. Is that the case? Yes, decline. Lincoln County takes over. So
that's right. Let's see what he's going. What's this call going to be now? He's got an interesting point here. Well, what a break.
Boy, what a break for Lincoln County. Yeah,
but that was a tremendous drive by Commerce then. Some 80 yards? 80 yards and 3 inches?
Yeah. All right, 1:39. And a tough break for the Tigers. Lincoln County advancing the ball about 4 yards, getting it up to the 5 or a little over the 5-yard line. Flag on the play on the far side of the field. Ball spotted at the 6.
Looks like he's going to be talking to Commerce. And all Coach Larry Campbell's going to be trying to do right now is just try to get the ball out of there and keep possession of it without giving it up with a fumble there. They're going to decline that penalty, and
procedure against Lincoln County.
Yeah, that's a good call there, a good decline or declination, whatever you want to say, because it's 2nd down. They're deep in the territory. I think it's interesting, Charles, to note that both of these coaching staffs, year in, year out, have the same assistant coaches, and I think that establishes a lot of how much you can perpetuate a good football team every year, because, you know, they have fine staffs, they stay together, and they build the programs, you know, around that. Both of these coaches, Coach Ray Lamb and Coach Larry Campbell, surround themselves, you know, with good coaches, and these coaches, they give them responsibilities, and they go out and carry out those responsibilities, and those coaches stay with them. I noticed that Coach Steve Savage is one of his former players. David Cash from up at Stevens County came here, you know, as a coach. And Coach Robert Ellis, Don Watkins, Jimbo Stevenson. These people have all stayed with him. Rex Gregg. George Davis is new to his staff, just a couple of years past, but he's from the Wishbone offensive scheme and very, very fine assistant. And Coach Larry Campbell's troops, also his assistant coaches, been with him a long time.
2nd down for Lincoln County. Everett Leverett trying to turn the corner, gets a little bit of a cut in there, but not much yardage on it. Gets it up to about the 8 or 9 yard line.
Okay, this is a super job by Coach Ray Lamb right here calling timeout, because see, this is third down. It's 1:18. He wants to get the football back, and probably going to be able to get it in real good position. Coach Steve Savage, his defensive coordinator, going out, talking to the troops, probably going to instruct them, you know, if they can, you know, to get another timeout, because they got 1:18. Again, I'm just really impressed with the offensive drive. I know that doesn't make Coach Lamb and them feel any better because they didn't get in the end zone, but boy, do they look good, you know, on the offensive side of the football.
They sure do, and it's unusual as many drives as we've seen tonight to know that really 2 big plays, even though the score is 7-0 and only 1 score has been made, it's 2 big plays by Lincoln County. One, of course, both of them defensively. One was the fumble recovery that went to the end zone, and the other was not really a defensive play, but it happened while Lincoln County was on defense. A bad break for Commerce, but Lincoln, in effect, held them at the 4-inch line down there.
I wasn't taking anything away from the Lincoln County defense, because I think they have played well, but, you know, the offense of Commerce has just been superb. Postel. See, very, very wise. See, Coach Savage had instructed them, you know, when he went into timeout, he said, as soon as the ball is dead, you want to call a timeout. That's going to make it 4th down, and we're going to get the football, you know, with 1:13 to go.
In relatively good field position because they'll be punting from deep. And against the wind, I believe. I can't tell exactly what direction the wind's blowing. The flag, you might know it'd be still at this moment, but it has been relatively windy. Good evening. bringing the punting unit on for Lincoln County. Can you say that 3 times?
Had a chance to see Coach Lamb's son, Bobby, who many people remember was a fine quarterback, led the nation, you know, in passing percentage from Furman University. He's now a graduate assistant at Furman University under Coach Satterfield, and certainly a fine football player along with Hal Lamb, and it certainly was good to see him. Notice that a lot of schools in the area are not playing tonight, and we have an entourage of coaches coming in to watch this game tonight. Notice Dawson County, Banks County, Oconee County, a lot of people here watching this game tonight.
Leverett punting. And it's sort of a short kick. Commerce will have good field position as the ball rolls dead at the 44 down there by Lincoln County.
They've got the ball in excellent field position.
And it's 1:06 left. They've got good time if they use it wisely.
But they've got, see, 1:06 and only got to go 44 yards with the quickness they have. You know, they can do a super job right here, and a good job on the defensive part to stop Lincoln County and not let them get out of that hole. And now they are in great shape and probably going to be going for it. Almost a fumble again. Big play then.
Woo. And a good job by Nunn to hold on to the ball, but the clock's still running. 38 seconds as we count down.
Jason Leroy with the big tackle coming out once again to his bread and butter. Now this makes it a little bit different since they didn't get a good job done on, on the first down.
2nd down and basically 10 still to go. Just a few inches gained on that play by Nunn as he stretched out. Okay, back to pass, and Nunn just undershooting just a little bit. His man who was delayed coming across there, James Wood.
It's a real good drop then by your linebackers from Lincoln County, Kurt Douglas and Rod Elam. They trying to throw right underneath, and he had thrown just a little bit behind him in. So it's 3rd down, 13 seconds. I expect they're going to go for the big one this time.
Big bomb, huh?
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, this ball game can end in a tie. We've had 2 great overtime games. This one can end in a tie.
Can you believe we've had 2 overtime games out of 3 games?
I don't think that it will, but it can.
All right, Nunn. And just off the hands of Rucker. 10 seconds left, though. This brings up a 4th down. And do you think Commerce will punt?
I think it's a good call by, Ramblin' Rod Rucker has done a good job, for him. He's trying to get him out there in the open field, and let him work. I'm impressed with the contingency in their backfield there of Rod Rucker and Donnie Golston plays some for him in there along with Pat Wood and James Wood, the Wood brothers.
That's right.
I saw a sign. It was interesting. You've seen all the others. Now you can see the Wood brothers. I like it.
We've talked about the speed of James and how Rod rambles, and Pat Wood just explodes off the line. A tremendous core back there. All right, Rucker getting out of bounds with 5 seconds left, but it was 4th down. Lincoln County will take over at the 42-yard line.
And they got a reprieve once again, and I believe Coach Larry Campbell will probably be just content to go in the dressing room with a 7-point lead. Now watch him throw the bomb.
Stranger things have happened, we'd have to say. But Commerce leading our unofficial stats on offense because they've been on the field most of the time tonight offensively. As we say, the defense for Lincoln County having the most time on the field and coming up with the big play. Commerce 8 first downs, Lincoln County 2 first downs is what I have for the first half. 7-0 though. Lincoln County ahead of the Commerce Tigers. And the home fans here, of course, still cheering their Tigers on and will be. You'll hear a huge roar at the end of the half and also whenever the second half begins as they come out on the field. And Lincoln County, we talked to fans from both sides tonight, and all of them were just, we asked them how they were doing. They said, we don't know. We'll tell you after the game. I mean, they're really into this thing down here. It's good to see it. This, as you said, is high school football at its finest. You know, there's something about these schools, too, where the press box and the stands are right at the field.
I love it.
It's like a basketball game where you're sitting right at the court and not sitting way up in the grandstand somewhere. It's a lot of difference, and it just is more exciting for the fans, from the fans' perspective.
Yeah, he's going to
Look at it. Here he goes. Leverage. Boy.
Go ahead, Coach Campbell. I'm for you.
Why not? What have you got to lose? All right. The first half ends with Lincoln County Red Devils ahead of the Commerce Tigers 7-0.
And it's a good one.
It is a good one, folks. Halftime in just a moment. Then we'll be back for the second half. You're watching high school football on TV 32. Charles Hitt along with Coach Mac Poss. Tonight's game from Commerce, Georgia. The Lincoln County Red Devils leading this game 7-0 over the Commerce Tigers. A new dimension was brought to this game during halftime. You noticed that the rain started coming down, so that's a new element that we may have to contend with, or at least both teams have to contend with a lot more than we do up here tonight. Of course, Lincoln County now, you have to say, with the rain coming down, they have somewhat of an advantage because they have 7 points on the board. However, the statistics for the first half, as we said, Lincoln County 7-0 over Commerce, but listen to these statistics. Lincoln County 2 first downs, Commerce with 8 first downs. Total offense, Lincoln County only 30 yards total, while Commerce has 137. Penalties, Lincoln County has had 1 penalty, and Commerce has had 2. Punts, Lincoln County has had 2 for average 28 yards, and that's penalties, 2 for 28 yards, and Commerce has had 2 penalties for 10 yards. And so it's been one of those nights where things on the scoreboard are not really indicative of the way the game has actually been played on the field.
The Commerce fans are getting behind, their Tigers now. They love them so much, and they're still excited, even though the umbrella's out. Fine kickoff.
Lincoln County kicking off. The ball is taken by James Wood at about the 10, and Wood up over the 20 to almost the 25-yard line. Commerce will put it in play there.
Well, I think the fact that you mentioned, Charles, the elements, could prove to be a factor here in the second half with the rain coming down. Just kind of a steady type of mist and everything, but it could be a factor coming down.
And 2 good halftime performances by both bands. It was a good opportunity for us to show both bands, the Red Devil band from Lincoln County and also the Tiger band from Commerce tonight on the game. So we hope you enjoyed that. Scott Nunn giving the handoff to Pat Wood, and Wood's just rambling along up almost to the first down. He gets very close as he gets up to the 35-yard line.
Fine job then by Victor Elam to stop that, and I noticed that Kurt Douglas, playing left side linebacker, made the stop along with Victor Elam down the field. And super job once again. Boy, fine play on for Commerce coming out. Boy, can he scoot.
Chip McClure getting his hands wiped off, getting ready to snap the ball to Scott Nunn, the center for Commerce.
Big hit then by Mac Talent, young sophomore tackle, 229 pounds, with stopping just up front. Super defensive play then by Mac Talent.
All right, no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 for Commerce. We'd also like to thank the people at Commerce for the excellent hospitality in the press box tonight. Boy, they have put out a spread of things up here. Just been a great time of talking with the people and enjoying the company of everybody up here. Real nice, close-knit family seems to be in the press box.
Mr. Drew, the principal here, Mr. Holloway, we appreciate this hospitality so much. Quick dive. Good change of pace for Coach Ray Lamb's offense then. They had been running the wishbone, executed to the fullback, looking for the pitch, running out. Then they just ran a counter dive play. Oftentimes people feel, that the dive is one of the best plays in football because the quickest distance, the quickest way to the goal line is a straight line, and dive play was a good action to give some counterattack in there because the linebackers from Lincoln County react so quickly, just trying to counter dive in there to make sure that they don't get in and get a substantial yardage on first down.
3rd down now and 7.
Big down.
Tigers have been very effective in converting 3rd downs, and they do another one. Good run. Pat Wood once again just spurting up the middle and through that defensive secondary of Lincoln County across the 50 down to the 48.
Wilbert Jones came up from the cornerback slot along with Anthony Glaze and Antonio Maxwell. The secret, I think, to Commerce's wishbone, not the secret, but one of the key factors that you got to contend with here is the fact that their backs all have such great feet. They can change direction so quickly. The wishbone is known as a power, but they've got a powerful offensive line, and then they got great quickness up front. I was looking at Wood in there and Goldston in there at fullback.
2 first downs again for Commerce, and Rod Rucker They say he stepped out of bounds at the 21-yard line, but Rucker really was making some moves on some people down there. Rucker getting the ball. Well, he continued.
Said he stepped out of bounds and did a fine job going in.
So I'm not going to get into that.
Mark Hancock, Ricky White, it's so good to have a well-balanced offensive line at the time, but they can go left or right equally well from their offensive attack.
It looks like there was movement first on Lincoln County's side of the ball, and then some on Commerce.
You'll have encroachment on the part of Lincoln County, I think. That makes an easy call when it's first down, and you get that's first down.
Well, it kind of opens up some opportunities for you to maybe do some different things than you planned originally, because it really gives you an extra down to kind of play with in there. 1st and 5 is a much easier task than, say, 3rd and long is.
And Commerce Tigers are knocking on the door, going from their unbalanced line once again.
And Rick Massey split to the top of your screen. And Scott Nunn on the keeper.
It was almost a super play by Bobby Booker then. Fine player that we saw that took off on the touchdown jaunt. Came across and almost tripped up Scott Nunn then. Scott Nunn kept his feet and got some additional yardage, did slip down. The footing may be a little slippery right now, Charles, with the moisture hitting the field. It was already wet, and we can see the worn places out there where they've had a lot of wear on it right out here, particularly in the middle of the field.
Right, and the wind is getting up too in gusts at times, which could affect the kicking game.
Back to Rucker.
And Rucker down inside the 10-yard line.
And on the tackle, I'm going to give you 2 guesses who was there, Charles. The first 2 won't count.
Well, I have 2 guesses. One is 40, and one is Kirk Douglas. How about that?
You could take that one right. Boy, he's a good football player, isn't he?
1st down again for Commerce. That's 5 first downs in this drive for Commerce. Once again, the Tigers look impressive on the offense.
They certainly do.
Lincoln County yet to touch the ball.
Well, good decision on the part of Coach Ray Lamb to defer to the second half kickoff, and now he's trying to regain the momentum here.
Looks like a little bit of difficulty on the handoff there. She said the ball may be a little slippery.
Well, Coach Ray Lamb has been ultra successful, and he's a disciple of the Wishbone offense, and has had a lot of great players out of it. You know, if we tried to mention all the great players that come out here, we might miss someone, and we don't want to miss anyone. But, you know, this has been a great, type of offense for him, and he does a super job of teaching it, and his kids respond real well to it, and this looks like another good one.
Paul Ingram now is split to the top of your screen on the left-hand side of the line and is split in position, number 8. And flags and whistles everywhere. 4:56 is the time left in the 3rd quarter. Let's sort things out. Commerce is chanting because it's against Lincoln County. Another encroachment against them, it looks like.
Charles, Coach Lamb had hoped this year that he would have the services of George Mathis, number 73. He said he's one of the finest young men that he's ever had the pleasure to work with, and he's had so many firemen. George had sustained a head injury and was recommended by the doctors that he not play, but he said he's just a super kid, had been at every practice. He's dressed out tonight, and they do let him kick some. I think that's a tremendous attitude for a young man.
That's a great story, too. And Rucker down just hugging the goal line.
And he almost danced his way right into the end zone. Did you see how he was cut off then by the cornerback? And then he made a tremendous cut back up on the inside.
And he said, if I can get in there forwards, I'll sneak in backwards. He even tried everything.
It's not how you drive, but how you arrive.
I like that. Okay, timeout's been called. Let's take a break. You're watching great high school football on TV 32. Okay, 4:11 is left on the stadium clock. Commerce inside the 5-yard line. They're about 3 yards away from pay dirt. It's 3rd down and goal for Commerce. Scott Nunn with the handoff to Pat Wood. Rod Rucker was the carrier on that play.
George, this drive, Charles, has consumed the clock in its entirety.
That's right. Just about the entire quarter. Once again, a timeout has been called by Commerce.
It's 3:42. They're fourth and maybe a half a yard for the touchdown.
Very close down there. They've been here before, and of course were befallen by some difficulties down there, and Lincoln County took over down there about this same spot. So probably wise to call a timeout at this point, settle everybody down and say, look, you're only down by 7 points. This is an opportunity to get tied back up. And you know what? It's not the first time this year we've seen tie ball games.
It certainly is not. We were talking about George Mathis a while ago. Coach Lamb said, he's the epitome of what a high school football player is supposed to be. They're just a very, very fine nose guard for him. And he said, certainly George was upset that he couldn't play anymore, but certainly, there's really no decision to make in that type of situation, when you have a person's health, in mind and the injury and everything. But as we mentioned, it's just a tremendous tribute to the young man to still come to practice every day and maybe not be in contact, but be out there boosting the kids. And I noticed him down there on the sideline. I intentionally watched him the whole first half and didn't mention him that, but every time they do something good, he's waving his hand, he's patting them, on the pads, when they come out. And, gosh, it's great to have somebody around like that. And my hat's off to the young man. A lot of people could have said, hey, I can't play anymore, so, I just go home and watch TV or do something like that. But he's out here every day, and that's a fine tribute to that young man. And he's to be congratulated, and his parents for facing that type of adversity, but still wanting to be a part.
And also hats off to the coaching staff for promoting him and for allowing him to do what he does, because he is, like I say, dressed out. He's an integral part of the program, and he's out there right now hollering directions out and giving them a boost.
Number 73, George Mathis. Big down right here. Can I say that? Fourth down. Call it.
Ultimate.
Call it, furniture man.
Call it. What is there to call? Let's see what Pat Wood's going to do with this thing, or Scott Nunn. Which one's going to get it? It's Rod Rucker. You might know it. Touchdown for Commerce. Rod Rucker takes it across. The exact person I said wouldn't do it. 3:39 left on the clock in the third quarter, and 7-6 right now. Lincoln County over Commerce with the PAT to come.
Just right in behind Mark Hancock and Shane Brown, then number 61 and number 66. But I think you got to give some a block there by Pat Wood and James Wood or Golster was in there. They gave Rod Rucker the good block and the power play right inside, and they got in for 6. That drive consumed from the time they kicked the football to Commerce. That drive consumed all of the first part of this third quarter, and there's 3:39.
Shane Brown, and taking a long snap. The PAT is no good. Lincoln County all over everybody back there as the snap was high and could not get it placed down for Shane Brown to do his PAT work. So Lincoln County still ahead in this ball game, 7-6, and Commerce has just been befallen by all kinds of problems tonight with their offense.
Well, they have done a great job of carrying the football up and down the field.
It's just the bad breaks have come at the wrong time, seems like, for them.
Perhaps the moisture had something to do with it, mishandling, when you snap and things of this nature. And that's just high school football, and that's college football, and that's pro football.
That's right.
Those kind of things that happen,
3:39 is still left in the third quarter, and there's a lot of time left. And both these teams, Commerce especially, showing they can move the ball. Lincoln County just doing some good defensive jobs. So let's see what happens. Lincoln County now fixing to get their hands on the ball once again as Commerce kicks off to them.
Lincoln County is certainly just a very, very fine school, a fine little community down there under the leadership of Andy Henderson and Dr. Randall Edmonds. Two fine communities, two fine schools.
The wedge was set up, and the wall starting to form as they came up. The ball is advanced to the 39-yard line by Elam.
Number 55, a linebacker running that one back. Interesting story, Charles. Dr. Randall Edmonds is superintendent of schools at Lincoln County. Dr. Edmonds was an all-state player for the Lincoln County Red Devils. He went on to Georgia Tech, was an All-American at Georgia Tech. And I'll give you the rest of the story in just a moment.
Right. Lincoln County coming up now, 1st and 10. The ball spotted at the 35. And really trying to turn in and do some work there.
Well, once again, you know, I think equally as good as the Commerce offense is the Commerce defense because they're so active. I mentioned Dr. Edmonds. He's now the superintendent of schools there. He got an engineering degree from Georgia Tech. He was drafted by the Baltimore Colts under Don Shula, played for the Baltimore Colts, and then went to Miami and played for Don Shula at Miami. So a very, very interesting story about Dr. Randall Edmonds, who was just Randall Edmonds to those of us who knew him, and he's still just Randall Edmonds. But he came back, went and got a teaching certificate and taught math at Lincoln County High School, and then later went on and pursued additional degrees, and then decided to get into the administrative end, and now is the superintendent down there. So very, very fine young man, a tribute to that community, and he's now back leading the educational system in that county.
Boy, you'd have to say that's the classic story of hometown boy made good, wouldn't you? Tremendous story of it.
Glenn Norman
some running from Norman.
Big hit. A big hit. I'm still looking for my bingo. I can't pick out who's giving the bingos tonight. I know we got one. Chris Lamb came up and made the stop then. But, boy, Glenn was rambling in it.
Glenn was. He was standing straight up and moving through there.
I think a good tribute to both of these football teams is the fact that they have a lot of their players playing both ways, which says a lot for the young men about their stamina and their courage, and, you know, and their ability. But I think it also says a lot for these coaches to be able to get them ready to play on both sides of the football.
Right. Ooh, there was a bingo.
I'll let you say it. It was a good one. Chip McClure, fine linebacker for Coach Ray Lamb. Boy, he came in, and I thought you was going to give me a bingo, but you didn't.
Sorry.
I was waiting for you, Charles.
Wilbur Jones was on the receiving end of that, and whoo.
Did you notice that there was a gigantic hole created up there by the offensive line, Bobby Booker, Dwayne Simmons, and Brad Bowler, that all of a sudden that thing closed?
It closed in a hurry. And Commerce is showing blitz. Leverett is running. He's got some running room, and the flag goes down, but Leverett's still on his feet with first down yardage. But let's see what happens. Is that a probable holding call?
Probably a holding call on illegal block there.
Yeah, it's against Lincoln County. The Commerce fans can tell that. They're already excited.
But, you know, Lincoln County now, Charles, you know, their offense has begun to perk up just a little bit here in the third quarter.
They've already got a first down on this first drive that they've touched the ball. 1:26 left in the third quarter. We were talking about the two schools and about the men being out there and two running through the regular course of both sides of the ball, running defense and offense. And the thing is, you get the impression that the rosters are relatively small compared to some of the schools and some of the games we've been doing. Not as many men on the roster, but you sure get the feeling that these two teams could compete against any classification. Leverett back to pass.
He's got his
man wide open.
He's got him open. Beautiful,
great execution.
Pass.
Johnny Postel with a great catch down over the middle as he hit the seam going through there. Just outstanding play in the rain.
I love it.
And Lincoln County now putting on some offense. That's something that they really lacked in the first half.
Super job up front then by Lincoln County's offensive line to give Greg Leverett time to find Johnny Postel, and it looked like he might go there for a moment and gain a touchdown saving tackle there. And now the Red Devils, not to be denied, on showing a little offense. And they've got him out there open again. Anthony Glazen, he's still rambling.
Whoa. Run out of bounds down very close to the first down marker. He may have the first down. And you can hear the Commerce fans now. First time they've had a chance to start hollering defense all night, but they're really getting into it now for their defensive unit that's on the field.
Don't you think it's a wise move, you know, on the part of Coach Campbell? The offense, the wishbone somewhat stopped there, and now he's just come wide open and thrown the football and come wide open.
Yeah, and that's sort of unexpected with the weather conditions being like they are tonight.
Well, you trick them. You say, well, they're not going to throw it because it's raining, and then all of a sudden you raise up and throw it in two successive. Boy, that was a beautifully thrown football.
It was. Great job by Leverett just unloading down there to Johnny Postel. And this is the first time that Lincoln County has been inside the 30-yard line. As a matter of fact, it's down inside the 20-yard line right now. But so far, Lincoln County has not put on a drive like this all night, yet they're ahead on the scoreboard 7-6. So I tend to doubt that this game's going to end in a tie now, with the situation being like it is with the score 7-6. We say that because for those of you who have not seen our telecast previously this year, Coach Poss and myself have done 3 games. 2 of those have gone into double overtime at the end, which is just unusual for 66% of your games to do that so far in the year.
And Coach Steve Savage talking to his troops out there now and trying to get them settled down a little bit. Lincoln County on the offensive move.
They've got Victor Elam split to the lower part of your screen, number 87. Leverett handing off to Postel. Whoa!
Big play.
Boy, Commerce, just black jerseys and gold pants everywhere.
Big play. Number 33, Pat Wood coming up from the cornerback slot, and Mark Hancock scraping off from the linebacker. And that was a big defensive play for them to come across then and stop him for, almost no gain, maybe 6.5 inches.
Right, second down, and we'll call it 10 still to go for Lincoln County.
Oh, a long 9.
Probably the last play of the third quarter. Leverett again, big defense.
Well, you saw it right there on the screen. Shane Brown came knifing through from his defensive tackle spot, 200-pound senior. And with that ends the third quarter. But they've had 2 great defensive plays back-to-back.
All right, it's 7-6. Lincoln County over Commerce. You're watching high school football on TV 32. Fourth quarter, Lincoln County with a 3rd and long. Leverett with the reverse as he pitches out to Victor Elam, and Commerce sniffs it out, so they don't let him get it. It'll be 4th down and still about 10 to go for Lincoln County.
Fine play then by Shane Brown. They was running for the end around. Shane Brown and Mark Hancock snuffed it out so well, as you put it, Charles. And Lincoln County, it was going to be a good-looking play from the start, but then they saw what was coming and they closed it down in a hurry. Coming in the ball game now for Lincoln, Quincy Brown, number 12, 155-pound junior coming in for Lincoln, along with Wilburn Jones back in. Officials timeout, 4th down.
And 4th down and 11. They didn't quite get back to the original line of scrimmage, so 4th and 11. Just entering the 4th quarter. Charles Head along with Coach Mac Poss, and what another game we've had. I tell you, you have picked some tremendous ones this year, Coach.
Well, it's exciting to be here, and, every game, we've just been very, very fortunate this year that every game, has turned out to be a great game for us, and it's exciting to be here, and it's just good to be able to see these youngsters compete, on the gridiron.
And 4th down, 11 yards to go. Gutsy call by Lincoln County to go for it. Leverett throwing it long, but he throws it too high and out of the end zone. Commerce takes over. Lincoln County with a 1-point lead, 7-6. We're in the 4th quarter, but there's still 11 minutes and 6 seconds left in this game.
Well, when Commerce took the football on the opening kickoff of the second half, they consumed about 8.5, nearly 9 minutes of that clock. And this is 11:06 to go, and all of their, from the offensive side of the football tonight, they haven't had any problem moving the football. It's just had a problem, getting in the end zone, some breakdown. It doesn't mean somebody is making a bad move or something. They just hadn't been able to get it into the end zone.
Scott Nunn keeping and not finding a pitch out man.
Big play, and I'm going to guess who got up. Number 40, Kurt Douglas.
I could not have guessed. I could not have guessed. Kurt Douglas is all over the field. Just a tremendous linebacker. I know you've heard us call his name many times tonight and heard us sing his praises up here, but he is a football player to be watched. Just a junior and tremendous potential left for him. And you mentioned something to me about him prior to the game. He's a B-plus student. He's an excellent student in the classroom. Just a joy to be around and be with.
Yeah, once again, Commerce is going right back to their bread and butter, which, certainly, they should be doing that. the play before that we mentioned where the Kurt Douglas scraped off and got into the alley there, it looked like he had made a tremendous read then with his fullback where the tackle had closed on the fullback. Then Scott Nunn came on out. Super read by the quarterback then, and it looked like there was a big alley here. And then all of a sudden, the white shirt shows up, you know, and it's just cut off. Last little minute instruction there to Mr. Wood in that split end.
Good catch. And here again, now Comer is going to the air. And
super catch.
Doing a good job in the air. Scott
Kevin
Nunn
McCook.
Up to Kevin McCook, and a good job of execution by Commerce. First down for them.
I like that play then. Initially, from the line of scrimmage, he gave the read to the fullback and looked like he was coming out as like on the wishbone offense. Then he just drops back into his designated spot and looks for Kevin McCook. And hey, Kevin made a big league catch then. The ball's red. It's raining out there. He goes up high and brings it down.
That's what I was going to say. We've seen the most passing in this game we've seen all year, and it's raining out here. Once again, the quick dive as they go up into the center of the line for about a yard gain.
I tell you, Glenn Norman, Maverick Andrews, and Mark Talent up there on the defensive front have had a tough time all night, and they've done a very, very fine job. That's not what I mean when I say they've had a tough time, but to try to shut down that fullback every time, well, they've had a monumental task because he has such great feet.
2nd and 6. That's a pretty good thing to go in with, a 2nd and 6, gaining 4 yards on the first down.
Makes a pretty good call on second.
The full wishbone backfield. None on a long count that time, and he's pitching the ball out, and he gets rid of it. It looks like Lincoln County has it.
Came up with it.
Lincoln County has the ball. Another tough break for Commerce as they were driving. And as we said, no problem with moving the ball for Commerce, really, but they have had a little problems when it comes to turnovers and bad breaks tonight.
Well, he came out there on the pitch just like he's been doing all night, and he made the same good pitch. The ball more than likely is probably wet and just mishandled a little bit. Then when it got on the ground, did you notice that the ball just kept scooting? They couldn't get a handle on it. And then coming up, looked like number 9 for Lincoln County, Anthony Glaze, fine senior safety for him, 185-pound, because Larry Campbell came in with the recovery.
And Lincoln County, once again, with the ball in good field position. They're down at the 33-yard line.
With 8:26 to go on the clock.
We want to thank our cameramen who are standing outside in this rain tonight. Of course, John Kerr, who you saw make that great tackle in the first quarter.
He didn't lock up, though. I got to coach him better. He didn't lock up on his tackle.
Well, he didn't realize the man was coming right. They called his number, went right over him. And
of course, got to be tough, though, Charles. He's got to be tough.
Mark Watson up on the roof tonight. He's having a good time up there.
Postel.
Postel getting right over the middle, gaining about 4 or 5 yards on that play. So it's going to be a good call for Lincoln County now. Easy. I say easy. Nothing's easy out here, but second down and about 5, so that makes it an easier call on second down.
You know, Pat Tarpkins and Ken Knupp equally, along with Shane Brown, you know, they've done a good job up front inside that. And then the 2 defensive ends, if they don't do their job when they come out there against that wishbone, you know, then you're in trouble, and they equally have done a good job.
And the give going once again to the fullback, Glenn Norman. And Norman getting up, it looks to me like relatively close to first down yardage. Let's see where they spot it. As we said, it's getting pretty difficult for us to see the yard markers.
Second down.
The ball is spotted at the 23, and looks like they're going to come out for a measurement.
You can't see it from our cameras here, of course, but, you know, we have people standing on the bank up there, and ladies and gentlemen, it's raining, and we have people standing on the banks, and they're just everywhere down here. And, you know, can you imagine what it would have been like, you know, had it been a clear night?
Okay, it's just, it is the first down. It was just across the chains there, so a 1st and 10 for Lincoln County. Great shot then from John Kerr, who's right there with the action with the camera on the sideline. And Lincoln County now unofficially 4 first downs in this half, along with Commerce having 6 first downs in the half. 7:21 left on the stadium clock, and I don't think any fans have left the game yet, do you?
I doubt it. Johnny Postel.
Okay, Postel.
Just a host of Commerce Tigers over there on that side.
Boy, when they swarm, don't they?
They were in the eyes of the Tiger then. Chip McClure getting up. Mark Hancock getting up. Shane Brown, Pat Tarpkin. Do a lot of great gang tackling.
2nd and 7 now for the Red Devils as they come down deep in Tiger territory, down at the 20-yard line. Postel once again got a good hole and just blew by the defensive line, and well, the linebackers, of course, coming up for Commerce to make the play, but a good job by Postel running in on the right side behind his blockers on the right side of that line. Brad Bowler, Dwayne Simmons, Bobby Booker, all of those that are in there doing a good job of blocking, opening up the hole.
And Chris Lamb got a hand out there and tripped him just a little bit, and then Kevin McCook came across and made a tackle, and it looked like he was just about to bounce that one outside.
And close again to another first down for Lincoln County. Let's see. Good shot again. Let's see. It's going to be a little short of the first down. Looks like about a foot, maybe
Great
a half
shot.
yard.
Great shot from my sideline camera there.
3rd down and less than a yard for Lincoln County.
Hats off to Stuart Gaines, our fine coordinator in the van, who did a little athletic training there and taped everything back together at halftime.
Right. And Postel swinging and curling and darting.
Big hit. And he was going to be stopped at the line. I believe he's going to have enough of the first down, but had he not twisted then, it was a super hit coming up from that side. Didn't get his number. Super hit. One of the best hits we've had tonight. Had he not twisted and turned, you know, that was going to be stopped with no gain. Great job by Postel.
Boy, second effort, just abundance there from Postel. 5:58, down under 6 minutes.
Well, both of these schools have so much pride, so much tradition, and, you know, right now that's what's, you know, taking over. Wilburn Jones and Lincoln County putting together an offensive drive of their own right here.
This is the best offensive drive that Lincoln County has had all night. They started inside their 40-yard line. Commerce has a great chance. Let's see what Leverett's going to do. He's across for the touchdown. Lincoln County scoring.
Great athletic play.
Leverett doing a tremendous job of getting the ball into the end zone as he comes on a quarterback fake. It looked like he was going to roll out and then just cut back into the center of the line toward the right-hand side of the line, or left-hand side of the line, and doing a tremendous job.
His feet just kept on moving, and it looked like the pride took over. He knew he needed the first down, and then he gave it a little more gut check and, you know, got it in the end zone for 6.
And Kennedy Starks looks like he's ready to run a foot race with that when he's getting ready to kick it. Flags are on the play on this point after. Let's see how they call it. They're talking to Lincoln County. Remember, it's 13-6 now.
Did that look like a fake to you, or did they just stop the play?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's see what's going to happen. But now, if it's 13-6, that puts a different dimension, sort of, at this ball game than if it were 14-6 at this point. Let's see what's going to happen here. All right, they bring in a different crew. Lincoln County's still going for the point after. Well, they're going to call timeout and talk it over again.
I believe they're going to go for 2.
Lincoln County with the ball placed at the 3-yard line, the normal spot for the point after, and they're going to talk it over and decide what to do. They've got that regular backfield in there. They've got Jimmy Postel, number 24, as you see him in there. They've got Leverett in there, number 11. They've got 30, Wilbur Jones in there. So they've got Glenn Norman in there, number 25 at fullback. So they've got the regular wishbone attack.
So they're going for 2. They certainly are. It's 13-6. If they kick their point, it'd be 14-6, and then Coach Lamb then would have to go for 2 to tie it. So they're going to go for the win.
And, of course, Commerce, big play for them. If they can stop this drive right here, that gives them an added chance to get it down the field, put it in a tie. You know, a tie may not be out of reach now, according to what happens here.
Well, this is an interesting call right here with it 13-6.
Lincoln County coming up to the line. Let's see what Greg Leverett and his troops. They've got split backs and they've got 2 receivers. Let's see, Leverett pitching out to Postel, and Postel throws short. The PAT was no good as they went for two, and boy, has this brought a different dimension to things now. Commerce will be able to get the ball on the kickoff, 13-6 in favor of Lincoln County, and now that separates the two teams by only 7 points. 3:54 left, and boy, that brings life back to the Commerce bench and the Commerce fans, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and they got a little reprieve then. Lincoln County electing to go for 2 points. Be kicking off to Commerce Tigers, and with 3:54 and noticing what the Commerce Tigers have done thus far tonight from the offensive side, except if they had a penalty or if they fumbled the football, nothing much else, has stopped them as far as their offensive thrust was concerned.
And Kennedy starts to kick off for Lincoln County. It will be important with 3:54 for Lincoln County to get the ball way downfield, for Starks to get a very good kick on this ball.
A super job on defense then by stopping it just short of the goal line.
Okay, and Starks does get it way down the field. It's taken on a line drive by Barry Brooks, and let's see, they've stopped everything for just a moment. See what's going to happen. It amazes me that Lincoln County's uniforms are still so clean, being white uniforms. You see a lot of men out there that look very stark white, so that amazes me those uniforms have stayed as clean as they have on this field tonight.
Well, I think, one thing, the field is in good shape. It is, just a little bit worn there, but they got a great turf, great sod there, and with the sod and the turf, it has kept, dirt off of them, for the most part.
Commerce penalized 5 yards. They'll kick off again from the 45 this time. Kennedy Starks with a good spot on the ball last time as he got it right downfield to Barry Brooks, and it was a line drive, so that would have given Commerce an opportunity to set up some return. Let's see what happens this time as Starks kicks off from the 45 for the Red Devils. Starks another good end-over-ender.
Had 1 foot back in the end zone then, so they'll take it over from the 20, and as well as they've been running the football, that's not far to go. They got plenty of time. 3:54 to go.
All right, as you said, 3:54, and Commerce has all night tonight run the ball unless, well, they've run the ball good all night. The only thing that stopped them was some adversity that came up, whether it be super defensive play or defensive break by Lincoln County or something that Commerce did that stopped the play themselves. So let's see what Commerce has in store. Scott Nunn at quarterback. Let's see what he can do. Nunn back to pass, looking for Barry Brooks, and he's got him. But it was it was
received. He caught the football. What are they going to call here? I believe it's going to be Lincoln's football.
Let's see.
It sure is. He caught the reception.
Lincoln County's ball.
It's got to be Lincoln County ball.
First down. Boy, what a change of events. 3:44 left in the game. Lincoln County takes back over at the 30.
A great reception then. It looked like, I couldn't tell for just a moment there. There was so much going on. I couldn't tell if he had been declared down or what, but then they took the football and recovered it.
Well, I looked down at my lineup for just a minute, and then I saw somebody running the opposite way, so I'm in the same boat you were in. Didn't see quite all of that.
Barry Brooks was in that split end, made a good reception.
Great play by Brooks.
Bingo!
Oh, good stick.
Chip McClure. Oh.
And that was Johnny Postel again carrying the ball for Lincoln County. Lincoln County with the clock running down to 3:12.
Well, both of these football teams, I don't want to take anything away from Chip McClure and Mark Hancock, because Chip McClure, he's as good a high school linebacker, as you see. And he moves real well, and I like him. I really do. And that was a big lick by the linebackers then.
Second down and 9. The ball is spotted at the 30-yard line, right on it. Oh, good play.
Big play. Pat Tarkins, 215-pound junior, number 76. Boy, he made a big play.
He blew through the line and got Leverett before he could even get his feet set to turn and get out. So great job by Tarkins.
Yeah, you're not supposed to make those kind of plays when you're juniors. You're supposed to come through with those kind of plays when you're seniors. So that's bound to make you smile when you see a junior come in with a big-time play then.
But you know what? I bet Coach Ray Lamb will take it right now.
He probably will. He doesn't care if he'd take it if he's a freshman or whatever.
Was that too much time, or did you see some movement?
Be delay of game.
2:01 left. Of course, Lincoln County trying to take as much time as they can right now to let this clock run down, because Commerce has shown potency even on that last that last play. They showed how they can get it across the middle. They've got good hands in the throwing arm of the quarterback, Scott Nunn. They've also got good receiving hands. So it's 3rd down now in long yardage for Lincoln County.
Well, I think the defense has done a super job right here, you know, not let them get anything, because if they I believe we're going to have encroachment on the part of defense. They moved when you had motion over here with Johnny Postel. Now, the point that I'm making, the defense just did a super job on 2 successive plays. Big lick over there by Chip McClure. Then they came right back, and then Pat Tompkins came in and made a big play. And Coach Larry Campbell on the converse is trying, you know, to get a first down, because if he gets a first down, then the clock is his ally with a 13-6 lead. But so he certainly did want to get a first down. He is trying to use the clock, but he wanted a first down out of it all the time, and then probably, you know, just tuck it away.
Big first down play, or a big 3rd down play. Oh,
great
look at that reception.
Oh, what a reception.
Anthony Glaze tipped it off his fingers and then grabbed it as he was falling down, and what a play by Glaze. Let's see where they spot it. Yeah, it's short of the first down, looks like.
Oh, man, that's a big lick. We just saw a super catch, you know, a while ago, and then turn right around and another big-time play. Oh, man, what a night for football.
And it's 4th down and about a 1.5 foot left. Let's say a half yard to a yard. 1:34. Clock is still ticking, and this one's coming down to the wire, too.
Well, he'll use his clock, you know, real effectively here now. They don't want to get a penalty because they want to have short yardage to go for the first down.
This is an important play. And they did get the penalty. Let's see if that changes their plan of attack.
Well, they got 1:18 to go. You know, he didn't want that penalty then. He wanted to use just enough clock, but that makes it a little bit different call here. More than likely, it's 4th down now and about 5. Well, that's a long 6, isn't it?
Sure is. Commerce doing a little bit of changing personnel on defense.
Barry Brooks and Chris Lamb back in the ball game, looking for Lincoln County. They certainly haven't been bashful with a 13-6 lead coming up.
They sure haven't.
Hey, I love that call. I like it since it was completed.
Okay, it looks like that, and there goes a flag down. Boy, he's going for the long one. He's got a man open and batted away just at the last minute. Outstanding defense, but we got a flag down right up at the line of scrimmage.
Great job then by Chip Massey dropping back from his safety position. Just a great job. We'll have to see what this play is going to be right here.
And there's 1:10 left on the clock, which is still a good bit of time if the clock's used wisely.
I like the way Chip Massey went up then, and he was going for the ball all the way.
Procedure against Lincoln County, and so that means Commerce will take over the ball at that spot, which is about the 26-27 line.
Well, they still got a chance with 1:10 to go. And listen, those backs, as quick as they are, they could pop through that line just as any time, and you know, it still can go either way it is, and it's coming down to the wire.
The Cardiac Kids of Commerce in Lincoln County going at it tonight.
The Dynamic Devils and the Cardiac Kids.
Scott Nunn looking for his receiver.
Trying to get it out there to Rucker. Real good call. Wilburn Jones covering out there, and number 40, Kirk Douglas. His responsibility, the linebacker, is to cover the back out of the backfield, loosened up just a little bit with the motion, and then had the safety back deep. 1:06. That play only took 4 seconds. It's 2nd and 10. And about, what, Charles, about 73 yards to go?
That's very close. All right, Nunn coming to the other side of the field to James Wood. Wood's got his hand on the ball and got some running room. Boy, he's going to scramble, and he's got some blockers over there, almost falling down, and gets back just about to the line of scrimmage. A lot of time taken off on that.
He was trying to get loose, and he almost got back to the other side and almost got to a wall, just like on a punt return. Had he gotten back to the other side, he could have really scooted then.
James Wood running 40 yards, but not really gaining, but about, well, actually losing a yard on the play.
It's amazing how well they can still catch a football with it raining like it is, and the moisture, being what it is. Just amazing.
Clock down to 53 seconds, so time really beginning to be a factor now. They've got to try to get the first down and also try to stop the clock as much as possible, get into that 2-minute drill and do as much as they can to get the ball downfield. Behind by 7 points, so it's up to Commerce now to do what they can. Lincoln County wants to bend but not break in this situation. Commerce trying so desperately hard to get the ball downfield and out of bounds.
And third down. They've got to have a first down, and they've got to have big yardage on this down. Looking for Rod Rucker.
Nunn's got his receiver. Big play there. Number 19, Kevin McCook, coming down with the ball. The clock stopped at 44 seconds.
Ran a little clear out over here on this side, then ran him right underneath, and real good job. Great reception then by Kevin McCook. Went up there, and how can they catch that ball with it being so weird like that? Good job. Good job by the official to wipe it off, I guess.
Spotted at the 39, 35 seconds left on the clock. They've got to go for a long one here. All right, got it out to Rucker. Rucker stepping out of bounds, using that clock wisely. 28 seconds. Let's see where they spotted as far as first down yardage is concerned. Boy, is that thing going to be close. They're going to have to come measure this one because it's too close to call.
I would say from here, it's close.
Boy, has this thing come down to a last-minute game once again.
And with the great speed that Wood, Rucker have, and the fine throwing arm of Scott Nunn, and everybody has shown the ability to catch a football. Barry Brooks, Kevin McCook, they got a first down. They've got 28 seconds, and scores 13-6. And what more can you say?
Did we say at the beginning of this that this was going to be a game or what? I tell you, Lincoln County and Commerce, with all the things we had heard about it, we knew it was going to be a good game, and sure enough, it is one more game that we're glad we brought to you on TV 32.
I was traveling all around northeast Georgia this week, and everywhere I went, people were saying, hey, I heard Commerce and Lincoln going to be on this Tuesday night. Really are looking forward to it, so there you have it.
Nunn once again with his receiver. And he falls down.
Wood.
James Wood falls down there. The clock is at 22 seconds.
As soon as they get the sticks down, they'll start to clack. And
boy, Commerce is on the move.
They really are. And
Scott Nunn shouting. The clock running with 16 seconds. Nunn is back to pass. He got his ball off. And it's received by James Wood once again. The clock at 9. Can they stop it? 8, 7, continuing to tick down. The game ends. Let's see how they're going to rule this, because the officials were trying to get the ball back to wipe it off and couldn't.
That's the ball game.
That's the ball game, and Lincoln County ahead of Commerce, 13-6 as the clock ran out. What a game. Commerce falling to Lincoln County tonight, 13-6, and just a tremendous game for our TV 32 audience. We'll be back with some comments and the closing statistics at the end of the game in just a moment. You're watching high school football on TV 32. Destined to come out this way, I guess. It was one that was a lot of hoopla, as we had said earlier in the game, all week long. Lincoln County winning an emotional game over Commerce tonight. The Red Devils on top of the Tigers, 13-6. It came down to a decision almost made in the last few seconds, and tremendous play by both teams. The stats are certainly not indicative of the score. Let's looking at the stats. In first downs, Commerce with 18, Lincoln County with 8. In total yardage, 294 for Commerce versus 136 for Lincoln County, and most of Lincoln County's coming in the second half of play. They had only 30 yards total offense in the first half. Fumbles, here's a big key. Commerce had 3 fumbles, lost 2 of them. Lincoln County 2 fumbles and did not lose any of those. So that was one of the big factors in the game. Coach Poss, you said all along this was the game of the year almost, the game we had to see.
Well, it was just a classic, and the fans, you know, both sides of the fields, I'm just so glad our people had an opportunity to see it, whether it's delayed tape or not, boys, it was fun. I think if there's two better football teams in Class A football in Georgia, I'd like to see them, because these are two fine football teams. They're both well coached. It's a shame that anybody had to lose this ball game tonight, honestly. And, of course, stats show that Commerce moved the ball real well. And, of course, stats show that in the second half, Lincoln County moved the ball real well. So who knows, maybe these two teams might meet somewhere down the road, you know, down for the future.
There's John, a big tackle. John Kerr. Thanks to our camera people who really had to put up a fight tonight in the rain and in the drizzle down at Commerce. John Kerr on the field with the camera that you saw just a moment ago. Mark Watson up on top of the booth, and who was in the rain also tonight, carrying the load from up on top of the press box. Stuart Gaines in the truck is our director, and Kim Gaines doing the graphics in the truck. And we appreciate everyone who has been a part of this telecast. Also to the sponsors, thank you for sponsoring high school football, one of the greatest things to happen in North Georgia sports in many years. And as the staff of TV 32, we thank you for tuning in. Join us again next week for our Game of the Week, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on TV 32. You've been watching high school football from Commerce, Georgia. The Lincoln County Red Devils over the Commerce Tigers, 13-6. You've watched high school football on TV 32.
Join us again next Tuesday night at 8 for more exciting high school football action on TV 32. This has been a WNEG TV Sports presentation.